Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be actually doing a reaction commentary video for once again. Yeah, the last time I did it was, wow, back in 2020, and that was literally a month before the pandemic really fucking started around that year, and that's insane to me that I've been waiting for this long to do it. But hey, I guess coming back to some of the old, ways I've made my video is coming back again, so this is at least the start of it, because I really don't know what else to do besides mainly just commentating on what's wrong with this fucking world and just showing you my art. But anyways, we're gonna be actually reacting to another Milo Stewart video. Yeah, believe it or not, we're reacting to this fucker again, who goes by as non-binary, I think? I don't know what Milo's pronouns are, and I really don't fucking care, considering this person is an SJW freak, and I don't care to say it. And what do you know? Just by looking at their channel again, yeah, they're still like that, and I don't know what this person's pronoun is, so I'm just gonna go by they, them. They certainly like to go by it. I'm not going by those other stupid so-called made-up pronouns that a lot of these SJW extremists love to do. There is one video that's been out 10 months ago, and yeah, no other content has still come by Milo's channel again. It seems like this person loves to wait months and months to come back again. I mean, I reacted to a video where Milo has said that before a long time ago, like 4 years ago, I believe. But we're gonna go to a video, and the title of it really intrigued me and also kind of makes me worried. If you guys don't know, I am on the autism spectrum, and this title here legitimately either made me want to laugh or make me cringe. So, the title is called An Autistic Day in the Life Where We Have Hope for Trans Rights. Oh, dear God. Yeah, we're really going in there, so buckle up, people. Here we go.
Good.
Wow, I really did not like that at the very beginning of the video. First of all, I feel dirty for even using the music, because that's literally the same music I use on my theme song for every video I upload now. Wow, what a great start, Milo. The first warning right there. Second of all, that was such bad comedy right there. Like, I get it. You finally can take your mask off. It was 2022 when this video came out. And yeah, it was kind of slowing down finally. And it was kind of slowing down pandemic-wise. But man, that was just not funny. Oh wow, we're not even in the vlog, and that was already bad.
Please bear with, because this was kind of an attempt at a daily vlog, but it's almost 8 p.m. and I still haven't spoken to the camera, so this is going to be sort of a narration slash just vlogging from this spot in a public park. Golden hour looks good on them though. I wanted to share my daily routine with you because it's going to become relevant. I'm recently discovering that I believe I'm autistic. That's not necessarily what this video is about. I want to touch on it a little bit. Mostly just my routine is really important to me as an autistic person, and some changes in my daily routine have really shaped the last 6 months of my life. So we're starting with the basics. And aside, I moved in with my partner around February, and moving in with my partner sort of prompted a lot of changes in my routine, just because I'm sharing space with someone in a different way, and that changes what choices I make in my daily life. Especially since the beginning of the pandemic, most of my life has been living in my bedroom that is also my office. That's also where I eat meals and where I hang out with friends.
Okay, Milo, I do have one question. Actually, maybe 2 or 3. The first question being, how do you know you have autism? And second of all, if you do think you have autism, did you check to a medical professional, whether it's some psychologist or psychiatrist, or at least even your doctor even that you go to all the time? Because I am wondering about that. Now, I was diagnosed with autism when I was 2 years old, so I might be kind of biased about this, but I really do want to know, Milo, how do you know? Like, do you have some sort of sensory overload? Do you get, like, some kind of anxiety when you're with big crowds? Or you just socially awkward, just keep things to yourself, or even all the above? I would really like to know that. And yes, I get it. The pandemic sucked, especially when it started. And that's where you were mostly at. And so was I most of the time, unless I went to work, because I am a retail worker. But I do have to ask, how do you know this? And how does your partner even can tell that you are on the spectrum? If you're just saying this wise, in 6 months? Really? I don't know. Usually for people who are diagnosed on the spectrum, usually take months or even years to finally get a diagnosis about that. If you think you are, you might want to go check with a medical professional about that instead of, I don't know, going on Reddit or just on speculations that you might be on the spectrum. I'm just saying.
Because I've lived with roommates for a really long time, and when I've lived with roommates, I've had a routine of kind of just shutting myself into my space that is mine. So almost every day, I wake up a little bit after my partner gets up, a little bit after 9. I sit around in my PJs while I eat breakfast with them. However, recently started some medications that have changed my sleep schedule, and now I am someone who wakes up before 9. So the past few days this week, I've been getting up and getting dressed, having breakfast, and making the bed first thing in the day, which is what I used to do when I lived with roommates instead of my partner. Today, I woke up and I got dressed, but then I found out that we did not have any coffee beans in the apartment. I rented Dunkin'. I sat around watching some YouTube while I ate my breakfast. That is very regular for me. Normally, I would have coffee at home and I would eat Reese's Peanut Butter Puffs with milk. And that's kind of my go-to breakfast. But who's gonna complain about eating a donut if I already have to go to Dunkin' for coffee already?
Congratulations, you wake up before 9 o'clock. Even I do that myself too. Oh wait, there's plenty of people who wake up before 9 o'clock as well too. And even those are not on the autism spectrum. Oh wait, they have schedules that they do their daily routine like everybody else. They're not always on the autism spectrum. Do you get what I'm saying? This is stupid. What does this have to do with being on the spectrum? Because there's plenty of people who do daily routines like you do all the time, and they're not on the spectrum. This doesn't make you this fucking special. Can we please move along and quit dilly-dallying and what the actual point is?
At 11, I had a really exciting Zoom call with my now employer because I was offered a job. I haven't really decided how much I want to share about my job online, but I will say right now it is my dream job. Like, I got a master's degree kind of thinking in mind that one day it might help me to get a job at said employer. So I am very enthusiastic. When I got my call, I did the rounds of texting and calling all of my friends and family members who are invested in my job search to tell them that I got a job. Then I ate lunch and I took a 1-hour bus ride to basically the suburbs of Chicago because someone in a Buy Nothing Facebook group posted an air fryer for free. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to go to the suburbs to get a free air fryer. I am unemployed / self-employed, so I have an abundance of time and no money.
I will say one positive thing. At least you are trying to, look for work like any normal human being. But I will say for somebody who's on the spectrum, myself, it can actually be very difficult to, look for a job on your own at first, especially if you are on the spectrum. If you are on the spectrum, you usually are not this confident at, looking for a job. Even as something as, let's say you're gonna look at a job to work at for, I don't know, Burger King. It is very stressful for us, to do an interview and a one-on-one conversation usually. That's why, thankfully, there's actually classes and those kind of techniques do teach us on the spectrum nowadays than what it used to be, 50, 60 years ago, when being on the autism spectrum back then was considered taboo. So thankfully, I will say that is one confidence you are pretty good at. I will give you credit there, Milo, but I do have one suggestion. Your editing is fucking crazy, and I'm more interested in what your cat is doing right now than what kind of job you are into. It's pretty distracting, and also the editing you're doing in this video. Do you want to just do filmmaking? Because there's plenty of classes for that too. It seems like you're pretty good at filmmaking right now with all these edits so far.
I listened to an episode of Gender Review on the bus.
Why do you think Bob's Burgers is trans?
Well, Jane is trans. There's a lot of arguments that Louise is non-binary, but also I just was curious because it's possible to read the fact that there are two women who are voiced by men as just fucked up in patriarchy, that they won't give any roles to women. Or you can just be like, maybe these actually aren't men. Maybe these are just like trans people and that's why they're this way. And not to say that like all trans women are like sounding like men, but you know how you're like, you can like just have this concept.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck this gender reveal podcast is. I'm pretty sure this is on Spotify. I wouldn't be surprised. But I have so many things to comment on what I just heard there. No, Asperger's or autism is not non-binary. What in the fuck was that? Being on the spectrum and being non-binary are two completely fucking different things. I'm offended by that. I'm close to laughing because that was so stupid. And I love the fact that a lot of these fucking SJWs saying like, oh, women and men that are voicing a different gender than what it is so fucking patriarchal. Really? What if they're voice actors for like a cartoon? Like when it comes to filmmaking. Oh, I just mentioned filmmaking there, by the way, Milo. But I guess that wouldn't fit in your moral stances as an SJW, huh? There. They, them, whatever. And the fact that you're using trans people that are all or not all like this as an excuse to being on the spectrum is kind of shitty. Actually, no, it's really shitty because being on the spectrum and being trans or non-binary or being gay or straight, whatever, your sexual orientation and being on the spectrum are two different things. They are not the same thing. You think somebody like Milo would be smart enough? Oh, wait, they're not. Not at all. Because you gotta remember, this is the same fuckhead who has said that all white people are racist, all cisgender people are transphobic, all blah, 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 like that shit. I still remember that, and that is still the stupidest thing I've heard anybody said. And this one just still pissed me off more than anything.
Then I stopped at an Asian market on my way home. I sat around with my cat in my lap, my step cat, because she's actually my partner's cat, but she's my daughter. That's basically to where we are right now.
Did that place even allow you to have a cat in that store? I mean, if they let you have a cat in the store, I mean, that's good to hear, but not all places allow a cat in there, right? I know service dogs, can be allowed in a lot of places nowadays, but a cat, really? I'm pretty sure there's still people out there that are allergic to cats. I love my kitty cats too at home, but I wouldn't just bring my cat with me everywhere at all the time. When your cat gets scared of certain areas, just like anything else, I'm just saying.
To sort of speak to why routines are important to me. I have very thoroughly enjoyed living with my partner. I have absolutely no complaints. I sort of just moved into the place where they were already living, but we are in a search for an apartment that we are choosing together. I'm excited that I'm most likely going to have a space where I have my own office and we get to choose the decorations and the layout of the apartment together, which is so exciting. But routines are something that kind of made moving in with my partner a little bit difficult, or at least out of the entire situation, it was like the only difficult thing. I wanted to change my routine so that I could spend more time with my partner. Like, my partner doesn't shower until like noon. So if I can spend the morning sitting on the couch eating breakfast with them, instead of doing my previously normal routine of getting up and showering first thing, yeah, I'm gonna do the thing that allows me to spend more time with my partner. Absolutely. Because my routines have a little bit been disrupted, it's taken me some time to get back into a place where I can feel like I'm able to do the life things that I was doing prior to moving in with my partner.
Okay, I have one advice for anybody who is in a relationship, whether it's a partner or a spouse. Please do not tell what their freaking like personal life is. I don't care what their routine is online. Why did you need to mention what their routine is? We're talking about your routine, Milo. You don't need to mention that to us at all. And also, this title of the vlog right here that I am watching, what the fuck does this have to do with autism? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other people who are not autistic that have routines too, like anything else. This is so pointless right now. You're just rambling, and I would really like you to head on and move on. Keep going though.
That's a little bit of why I haven't posted on YouTube in a while. I guess I kind of felt like I didn't know how to integrate that into my now daily routine and what my life now consists of. So the past 5 months of my life have mostly consisted of looking for jobs, applying for jobs, having interviews, following up with people, also binge watching every single season of Drag Race, deciding that I want to try to get into drag, but first I wanted to teach myself how to sew, and so I sewed my first outfit. I altered this top that I bought from a thrift store, and then I made a skirt from hand, from scratch, with a sewing machine. Basically, I made a skirt out of the fabric that was previously a blanket from a thrift store. And even though I haven't necessarily been doing anything productive in the sense that I haven't been doing anything that earns me money, I've been having a really good time. Like, I really thoroughly enjoy having time when I can just like pursue my creative interests and I can sit on the couch and eat breakfast and drink coffee with my partner. Can you tell that I like sitting on the couch and drinking coffee with my partner?
Okay, here it is again. You just brought up that you haven't been making content consistently. This is a normal thing that people do all the time. It's not a routine that's required. Even people who use social media, who use the internet all the time, that's not a requirement. It's, something that we do all the time, not everybody's a YouTuber who uploads videos. We get that. But this is the same complaint that you're complaining about again. And by the way, it's still been 10 months since you've uploaded anything. And just by scrolling through the entire channel again at Milo's channel, they mention about, one day doing drag, at least. I don't know if they were going to do being a drag king or drag queen, but some sort of that has to do with that kind of art. But I've looked through the channel. There has been nothing that you would be doing anything that's in drag, which is fine. You go do that if that's what your interest is. But why would you mention that at all if that's not what your entire public persona is? I mean, I don't know. If you do have some sort of drag persona, then maybe you can make your own separate channel about that. I know there's plenty of other drag queens that do all the time, but just from your content alone, I haven't seen anything of you doing that. And by the way, I'm sorry to say, but this is one of the stupidest and ugliest outfits I've seen in a long time. It looks like Rugrats vomited on it, but keep going.
I don't think you can tell. I think I should tell you one more time. I like drinking coffee with my partner on the couch. This has been kind of a major shift for me. This way that I now view productivity and pleasure and just mindfully enjoying my day-to-day is very different from how my mindset was a year ago. A year ago, I was taking an internship credit through my university, but I wasn't actively taking any classes. I thought I had taken all of the classes that I needed for my master's degree. Turns out that was wrong. But I was in the mindset that I had finished all of this academic work. And I was sort of in a crisis of like, what do I do now? A few months before I finished the last class that I was enrolled in, I was approached by Mango Publishing. You may know them because they published the fantastic book, The ABCs of LGBT by Ash Hardell. Mango Publishing reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to write a book? We would publish it. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to write a book. Originally, it was going to be my manifesto of like, academically, I've done a lot of research on queer and trans rights, and I have this background in theory as well as social movements and some like nonprofit direct service perspective experience, that I was like, I can wrap this all together and write a book. So that was my plan. I had all of this energy from being in academia and having a really high standard of productivity and being held accountable to writing really long papers. And I kind of didn't know what it would be like to not have that. It turns out if I can choose to not write about heavy topics all of the time, I like that better.
I might be the minority by saying this, or if anybody agrees with me, please tell me down in the comments below if you would like to. But nowadays, college has been known as the butt of jokes now more than taken seriously for a master's or bachelor degree nowadays, because of people that are more focused on things like gender identity and all of that, and to the extreme. People like myself have actually decided to drop out of college because of these situations. That's only the first problem about that. The other problem is that I get what this person's been through. I've been to a community college, and of course, I kind of failed because I dropped out. Yeah, as you could probably tell by the tone of my voice, I didn't graduate college at all. With that being said, I had to take some weird classes myself too that, were not available in my area as well. So I do get this person's struggle on that. But what I don't get is that I am scared that Milo Stewart is one day going to write a book that is about a serious issue. If you want to write a book that's not about a serious issue, like a children's book, that's fine. But then Milo mentioned that somebody had the calls to write a children's book, the ABCs of the LGBT, I think that's what it's called. And you probably guessed it. It's more than likely something that has to be as extreme as Milo's views right here. And the sole fact that you would think that children as young as like preschoolers to middle school would know what gender identity is, then you're not living in the real world, okay? But yet again, they're teaching that in schools now, which it used to be when I was a kid that some men like other men and some women like other women. And once you got older, you'll understand that not everybody is heterosexual. That's what it used to be. And nowadays it's like to these extremes. I could make a whole rant about that another time, but the sole fact that one day Milo might write a book honestly scares me. And that's where I don't want to know what it's going to be about, because more than likely it's going to be about what Milo is talking about here. And also, again, I like to mention, what does this have to do with being on the autism spectrum?
What I want to share with you today and tell you that you can pre-order, link in the description, coming out June 14th. Reaching into my jewel bag, you can get your very own copy of Trans Futures Now, a queer guided journal on finding your allies, demanding liberation, and using your voice, by Milo Stewart. That's my name.
Oh, wait, I take it back. You did write a book. Oh, shit. It's probably not going to be a about what being transgender actually means, where you are a man who is actually, you know, a woman mentally, or you are a woman who's mentally a man. It's not that, is it? Oh my god. Okay, another side rant here. It also used to be back then when transgender meant you were transitioning to the opposite gender. It used to be that. And now there's all sorts of, I don't know what the fuck, how many genders you're gonna make up today is now. It's scary. There are still third world countries where you're not even allowed to walk on the street as a gay man or gay woman.
Instead of writing a book, I have published a guided journal. And I think that is honestly a better outcome because I don't have all the answers. I do not have the authority to write a trans manifesto. I definitely could have said, like, here's what I think the trans community needs based on this information that I have, but that would not have been all inclusive. What I'm really looking for is for folks to read and work through this journal. There's an introduction and a couple of chapters written by me, and then a bunch of prompts, including both writing and doodling prompts. I want this journal to be a place for trans people to be hopeful. There is so much dark that trans people are dealing with right now, and I want to provide some hope for people who are facing that. I want trans people to have a space and encouragement to imagine all of the positive things that can come from the trans community that we have built currently. If you look online, this says it's geared towards teenagers. I definitely think you could be any age and find this book useful if you are someone who just likes to think about gender.
Because that's a great idea. Write a book about gender ideology and being transgender without having some sort of, I don't know, medical degree or of any kind. That's not harmful at all. That would be like me just using only my entire bias to write about a book about being on the autism spectrum and what to do just by my own experiences. That's not a good idea. I know plenty of people who are in the LGBTQ community who do not have this ideology like you, Milo. And there has even been people like Blair White that has called out your shit in the past and you completely ignore it. But I guess it doesn't fit in your woke ideology culture, doesn't it? No, in all seriousness, this is actually really bad if you think about it. And the fact that Milo at the end says that children can even have conversations and even other experiences with gender at all, or being transgender, yes, it is possible for children to be diagnosed pretty early on to have gender dysphoria, but that does not mean that at a certain age that they should be forced to have gender reassignment surgery yet. You know, there's a reason why that even certain states do not allow it to have it at such a young age. My own home state in Iowa is already having a bill itself to have underage gender reassignment surgery to become illegal. So what does that tell you right there? That this is not as much of a good idea as you may think, Milo.
So let me read you what it says on this here back of the book. We're here, we're queer. Get used to it. In their debut guided journal, LGBTQ advocate, YouTuber, and scholar Milo Stewart aims to give queer folks a place to process their journeys and think about their world. The start of this journal gives an up close and personal account of Milo's life as a pansexual teen in the hallways of their middle school in Ankeny, Iowa.
Wait a minute. I just mentioned that my home state is trying to have a bill to ban underage children for gender reassignment surgery, and oh my god, I did not know about this about Milo Stewart until now. This motherfucker is from my home state. Oh my god. I looked online that Milo is from Chicago, Illinois, but I had no idea that Milo was originally a high school student in Ankeny. And I know where Ankeny is at. It is far away from my hometown. Holy shit, this has just gotten awkward. And also, really, we're queer and we're proud. Get used to it. That sounds like a threat. There's plenty of gay people who don't sound threatening like that. And didn't the name queer used to be an insult in the past? I mean, I know 20 years ago when I was growing up, even 15 years ago, that used to be an insult.
It is there where they discover transgender teens are everywhere, living, breathing, and thriving in mundane and ordinary spaces, and where they began their own gender journey. Filled with questions, resources, and exercises to get you thinking, Milo encourages you to write and draw your experiences with journaling and doodling prompts that help you reflect in a safe space. Think about your sexual and gender identities and get to know yourself better. Reflect on who you've been and who you want to be. Embrace yourself in a whole new way. Inside, you'll find resources and thought-provoking journal prompts. We like that. A guided doodling section to help process feelings about buzzwords and the LGBTQ community. Can you tell I've been watching a lot of Drag Race? Oh my god.
I'm not normally somebody to really comment on anybody's weird spastic energy like what Milo was just doing right now, but this person's just weird, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not even bullying this person. I go out of my way if it is bullying, if I am legitimately calling this person names constantly all the time throughout this entire video. That would be bullying, but I'm not. I'm just critiquing and analyzing like how weird of a person Milo is. This is just the weirdo who wants to force their ideology onto people who didn't ask for it. I mentioned this before, but there's plenty of third world countries where being gay or even being suspected of being part of the LGBTQ community where you can actually get killed for that. And it is considered illegal in most of those third world countries. And no offense, Milo, but I have more courage for people in third world countries who come out as gay than some SJW weird twink here who thinks that because they went to community college and studied gender ideology, they think they're better than everybody. That's just the vibe I got from you there. They, them, dude.
Milo Stewart's compelling story and reflections on gender, expansive identities, transphobia. That does not deserve the inflection I gave it.
Transphobia.
There we go. That's better. Media representation and transgender liberation. So that's this. I really like how the process of working on this journal has really reflected the changes in my personal life and just like my perspective on the world. I'm enjoying my time in this park, although tonight I'm going to spend some time with my partner and their friend who is in town because later this week I'm going to have to travel internationally to go and do some in-person training for my new job. It's not that long that I'm going to be out of town for, but knowing that I'm going to have to go without cuddles on the couch with coffee and a cat makes me want to enjoy it more. So obviously I haven't really shared every single detail of my daily routine. I think that's maybe a little bit mundane and boring. I guess I just wanted to add a perspective that having a routine can feel kind of restrictive, especially if you are autistic, and changes to your routine can really throw off just how you feel and how you experience the world and what you're able to do. I'm also a little bit finding a way to just very casually bring up my newfound tentative autistic identity, because bringing it up online without a formal diagnosis is super scary, but like also diagnosis is not really what everyone thinks it is. It can help you gain access to different types of resources and get accommodations for accessibility in your workplace or your school, but unless you're specifically looking for those things or you're looking for personal affirmation, it doesn't really do a lot, in my perspective.
Milo, the whole point of diagnosing somebody with anything is the whole entire purpose of why medical professionals and anybody in psychology or some sort of essential training and degree that they have earned their hard ass work for is what they are, their job is for a reason there, Milo. The whole definition of diagnosing with anyone is considered common sense nowadays, but apparently common sense is dead because, in your words, Milo, that you're self-diagnosing yourself with autism. Like I said, you have to go to a professional for that if you think you might be on the spectrum for that. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but you're just probably not somebody who has it. And even if you do have it, I get it that you might be scared to go to the doctor on your own and, you know, not be told that, yeah, you are on the autism spectrum, you have this or you have that. That's everybody's fear, is going to the doctor or somebody you don't know. But they are medical professionals for a reason. It seems like to me that you are just ungrateful that we have people like that here in the US who can, you know, diagnose you with that has the form of technology and the form of training and studying that they have done for many years to why they have a license and why they have the job of being a doctor of precision, yada yada. You just sound like one of those people, though, where even when you're told by a professional, it's still not good enough for you because you might be scared they don't fit in your ideology alone. And to me, that tells me you need to get help. You really need to get help. And going into queer ideology and gender ideology from SJWs who don't even want to talk to professionals, and Tumblr and Reddit groups is not going to help you. I'm sorry, that's not realistic. I don't think it should be, though.
Having a sense that it's likely that I'm autistic has helped me find a lot of resources online, and also has helped me relate to folks in my personal life because a lot of my close friends are autistic. I have a very close blood relative who is autistic, which is community, but also just increases the chances that I am also autistic because autism can be largely hereditary. I may or may not be pursuing a formal diagnosis. I have definitely started the process of looking into the professionals available in my area, but it's expensive and it's time consuming. So please respect my privacy and please be patient with me while I'm figuring out this part of my life.
So you do know people who do have autism yourself, so that makes you think you might be autistic yourself. That's not always the case. One person I can actually think about who doesn't have autism herself, but she is married to somebody on the spectrum and has even stated that she has a brother on the spectrum, is a woman named Gemma, who is married to one of my favorite musicians, Gary Newman. That is probably a good example where you don't have autism or be on the spectrum of Asperger's or autism to, you know, have empathy and, you know, listen to their stories of how they deal with it every day. You know, that doesn't mean you're on the spectrum. And to make skeptical assumption that you are on the spectrum because you've talked to plenty of people about it too, that I'm sorry, no, honey, that it's not all that black and white as you may think.
And how to experience the world. IMO, I definitely feel like I could benefit from having accommodations in formal settings where they would be offered, but at the same time, I think it's also just as beneficial to me to know that the reason why I always get angry and cranky and tired in the afternoon is not just because I don't like afternoons, it's because I have light sensitivity and I need to wear sunglasses inside or shut off all the lights and close the blinds. Autistic frustration.
Again, you're still assuming that you're on the spectrum, yada, yada, yada. You just mentioned on your skepticism that you're on it. But one thing I will admit, that you are at least admitting that you have issues and that you are a very cranky and grumpy person. I will admit that is one thing I can definitely believe. I can definitely believe that people who have been around you, whatever, that you're not easy to deal with. I will say, kudos on you for at least admitting to that one.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
So, in conclusion, yeah, Milo hasn't changed. I don't think this person's ever gonna change until, I don't know, something far, far more drastic happens to them. They are still this woke ideology cult member, as I like to call it. That's because Honestly, whenever I hear about these SJWs, I swear to God, it's like hearing a freaking cult with these people with the same type of ideology and their mindset. And it doesn't even matter, like, if you have some sort of a different opinion than theirs, they will still freak out either way, even if it's not 100% their mentality. But in all seriousness, though, thank you all for watching. I just wanted to finally talk about a different topic for once that isn't about plague moths and that creepy reading. And for the love of God, I just looked at these thumbnails alone on Milo's channel recently. OnlyFans, fuck, I don't want to know what their OnlyFans is. No, I don't know. I want to wash it away from my brain. But anyways, guys, if you guys like my content, don't be afraid to subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon down below, and my art shops are down below as well too. It's actually all on my Linktree link if you guys want to go there. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're all having a good day. Drink plenty of red wine. Peace.